G'day guys, Socket here. Today we're going to continue on with our Room EQ Wizard car audio tuning tutorial series, and we're following on from using the USB mic to do moving mic averages. And in the last couple of videos we had taken some full range measures and we'd put in some rough crossovers where the speakers were interacting. So in this episode we're going to repeat the moving mic measurements of the speakers, this time with the crossovers, have a look at how they've affected the speaker response and do some tweaking to sort of rough in the shape of our tune. So let's get going. Alright, so we're all set up to do our crossover moving mic measures. So we'll go into the DSP and we will start with the left tweeter. Same as before, we'll go into RTA, start the pink noise, and we'll start waving the microphone, and when the averages over here in the bottom left get to 105, the measure will stop, and then we'll just hit current to save it, and then work our way through all the speakers. So let's do a couple, and then I'll fast forward and join you when we have all the measurements done. So let's get started with the left tweeter. So we're going to start the pink noise. Okay, so that's the left tweeter captured. We'll just go and have a quick look at that. So we'll just change the name to left tweeter. I like to do it in capitals. Left tweeter 3000 crossover. Okay, so let's bring that into view and let's apply some smoothing. So 1/6, apply smoothing. And now so that's the left tweeter with the crossover, 3000 hertz crossover. Let's bring up the left tweeter full range, and you'll notice that they're at different levels, so we need to align them so that we could compare. So we can do that two ways. One is click on Action and Align SPL like this, and use the average of the measurements. And you'll notice that it goes all a bit skewy, right? So that didn't work out at all. And it's because the graphs are significantly different shapes. So we'll just undo that. And we'll use this other way around, which is measurement actions. We'll select the graph that we want to move, which in this case is the left tweeter, which is full range. And then we'll just bring that down, I don't know, 10 dB. Whoops, wrong way, minus 10 dB. And just just keep going down until the two lines kind of line up. And there we go. And then you can add that offset so that it is matched up, and then we can close these down and have a good look at these two graphs. Okay, so I think we need about a minus 20 dB drop. That's occurred because I was playing around with the SPL meter, and so I've clearly changed some settings between when we did the full range and now these measures with the crossovers in. So back on topic, so here is the green, the left tweeter in full range, and this is the left tweeter with the 3000 crossover in there, and you can see that that's pulled all of this slope down into a nice smooth 24 dB crossover. So now that looks pretty good. So let's get on and do the right tweeter. So we'll go into the DSP, we'll turn the left tweeter off, we'll turn the right tweeter on. I like to just have it highlighted, And so now we'll go back to REW and into the RTA. We'll start the pink noise and we will take the measure. Okay, now let's go and have a little look at that. So we can minimize that. We can get rid of the other measures just for the minute. Here we are. Get rid of that one. And rename this one right tweeter 3000 crossover. We're going to do some smoothing, so actions smoothing 1/6, and let's have a look at it compared to the full range right tweeter, which is in blue. And once again it's way up the top here, so we're going to have to adjust the SPL. So we hit actions, measurement actions, make sure the right tweeter that we want to move is selected, which is on number 2, and let's put in -20, and there we go, bang, pretty much straight on top. Maybe down a fraction more, that's better. Okay, so, and then add that offset to the data. Okay, so just like the other tweeter, the left tweeter, you can see that we've got the crossover in now, and it's given us a nice smooth slope and pulled all of that back. So let's get rid of the full range measure and compare the left and right tweeters with the crossovers in now. So there we have it. So we have the left in red and the right in green, and you can see that, yep, there's a bit of EQ work to do, but the slopes are matching really nicely. So that's fabulous. So let's get on and do the other speakers. I won't hold you up, I'll just measure them all and then come back and we can have a look at the results. Okay, that's all of the measures done. Let's see if we can fit them all on one screen. So click on limits and then click fit to data, and then down here click 20 to 20,000, and it should get everything on the screen together. Okay, so let's clear everything out. Right click down the bottom here, clear all the selections, and let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got the left and right tweeter. Actually, I'm just going to increase the scale here. I like them to be in 5 dB increments. So that's the full range left and right tweeters, and the left and right tweeters with the crossovers in. I think we looked at those before, so we won't spend too much time on that. We'll go straight to the left mid versus the left mid with the crossover in it, and we have a crossover at 3000 and a crossover at 180. So you can see how that's pulled all of this level down. Still got a big scoopy thing going on here, but the crossovers seem to have worked okay. So we'll get rid of all of those, and we'll have a look at the right hand mid in full range, and the right hand mid with the crossovers in, and once again we've got 3000 and we have 180, so let's pull back all of this level. So they're the mid ranges. They look well, the left looks fine, but I'm not so sure about the so there's the left and here's the right, and you can see with the right is really struggling to through this 2000 to 3000 mark, where we've actually got the crossover active, and you want to try to avoid problem areas if you can. So let's just bring up the two tweeters, so the left tweeter and the right tweeter where it's going to interact, and let's just turn these left readings off, and you can see that that's quite there's a massive big hole here to try to fix, and if we put the left and right mids back on, there's a lot of level that's missing there, so I'm not that happy with the way that this crossover is really working for us, and we might either need to bring the mids up or bring the tweeters down. So let's just have a quick play around with that before we move on to the other speakers. I'll just show you how you might go around experimenting with this stuff. So the problem area we've got is this orange one, the right mid and the right tweeter. So let's just turn them off for the moment, and let's see if dropping the tweeter will help. And we can do that in actions, measurement actions, selecting the tweeter, the speaker that we want to move, which in this case is the right tweeter with the 3000 crossover, and let's bring it down, let's say to where these things kind of line up a little bit. So let's say 4.5, maybe even 5. Let's make it 5. So we kind of got this tweeter level and this mid level playing kind of together, and you can see that the crossover now looks a little more even, and this gap is not so big to fill. If I now bring in the left tweeter and the left mid, and we also take 5 dB off the left, let's see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we are. That looks a lot better in terms of. I mean, these levels are still not right, and we're probably going to fix that up with. EQ, but compared to before that, probably that's the way I would go around, sort of cleaning up or fixing up this crossover. Or you could, for example, try to increase the crossover, so let's say cross it up at 3.5, or decrease it a little bit to 2.5. But anyway, the key thing is to play around with your levels and your crossovers until they don't look like the problem that we just saw with our right mids. All right, well, we'll move on and have a look at the mid bass now. So we'll get rid of all of this. So here's the left mid bass with in full range, and the left mid bass with a 180 crossover and a 100 crossover. Okay, about here. And you can see that it's pulled down the levels on both sides, and also because the crossovers are so close, it's actually lost a bit of level at the top of the peak, which happens because we haven't got a huge range between the crossovers. So this one's pulling and this one's pulling, and the net result is somewhere in the middle. It's dropping it as well, but that's fine. Nice clean looking curve. Let's have a look at the right hand side. Right, so we're looking for the right mid bass full range, and the right mid bass with the crossovers. So this is not looking as nice. So 180 to 100. It's a bit lumpy, this particular shape, but if we put the left mid bass on as well, yeah, it's not quite as clean. So probably what I would do is have a bit more of a play around with the with the right mid bass. Maybe bring the levels up a little bit. Let's see if this would help at all. So measurement actions, right mid bass, and let's see if we can sort of bring it up, increase. Right, so now those slopes are kind of lining up a bit better. If we gave it maybe a 5 dB increase, now we're dealing with some of these dips and things have smoothed out a bit. So I'd probably add 5 dB to the right mid bass to help get those two to work a bit better together. Alright, so that's the mid basses. I'll just turn those off and we'll have a look at the front sub. So here's the front sub in full range. Whoa, completely off the screen. And here is the front sub with the crossovers. So a 100 crossover and a 65 crossover. So once again, very narrow. We haven't got a lot of room between these two crossovers, so you can see it's pulled the peak level down again, which is fine. But that's a nice, round shape, nice clean slope, so that looks fine to me. And then we can have a look at the last one, which is the rear sub. So rear sub with full range and rear sub with the crossover on. Once again, way up here, and same type of effect. We've got a 65 dB crossover, I think, from memory. Yep, something like that. 65. So yeah, you can see it's pulled back all of this level, right? All of this level. It's playing all the way down to, what's that? All the way down to 15, 16, something like that. Would really like to see it sort of rising up if possible, but I think it's struggling. I think what we'd do is actually just EQ it nice and flat there, and then it would integrate. We might even need to drop the levels. Well, first of all, let's get rid of everything and have a look at all the speakers together. So first of all, we have the rear sub, the front sub, the right mid bass, the left mid bass, right mid, left mid, right tweeters, and left tweeter. Now you can see that the tweeters, so what we want is a nice smooth line, and then for this to, around about the 200 mark to start ramping up. So the thing that sticks out for me is this rear sub is probably too hot, so we would probably go to the rear sub and bring that down, sort of so that we've got a nice sort of smooth transition like that. We'll sort of EQ it kind of flat, so we'd want to bring that down, maybe 6 dB, maybe even more. Might even bring it down 7. Something like that. So you have this nice smooth transition, and it will sort of play like this, right? It's okay to bring some level down. With the front sub, it's probably okay where it is. We're going to EQ this mid bass, so that red hump will disappear and the line will kind of follow like this. The mids are probably okay, and that just brings us to this question of the tweeters. We dropped them 5 dB to sort of clean up this crossover. maybe is a bit of a compromise. We drop a couple of dB on that and drop a couple of dB on the mids. So you can have a bit of a play around, with levels and the crossovers to kind of rough in your, the shape of the curve that you're going to want to try to achieve. Because the next step, once we've got all this roughed in, is to start, we'll remeasure everything and then we'll start doing our EQ work, and that will be something for another episode. So guys, that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. Once again, I hope you found that interesting. If you've got any questions, please pop them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.